games begin. Come walk in my shoes, I done paid all my dues. I got something to prove, all in, nothing to lose. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit, there ain't no stopping it. I was born for this, from day one I wanted it. We come too far to quit, there ain't no stopping it. There ain't no stopping it, ain't no stopping it, ain't no stopping it. Let the games begin.
Welcome back to the Sawyer Center, site of SNU's matchup with Southwestern Oklahoma State. Both teams on the court and warming up as we get set for more Great American Conference action here at the Sawyer Center. I'm Luke McConnell, joined alongside by Russ Frisbee. And Russ, SNU put on a show on Thursday night against Oklahoma Baptist. What we anticipated would be a tightly contested game turned into an absolute romp as SNU came out with a 40-point win, 102-62 over the Bison behind a just complete offensive showing from the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, we'd seen earlier in the season in Shawnee at Oklahoma Baptist a great game, 58-57. Looking for more of that last night, and SNU instead came to play and absolutely shut Oklahoma Baptist out in a game that was over long before the final buzzer.
SNU comes into today's game 14-3 in conference play. They are a game clear of Southern Arkansas in the standings, and they will travel to Southern Arkansas in 2 weeks on the 28th, last road trip of the season, to face the Mule Riders. That obviously will be a game with huge implications, and we'll be keeping you posted on what Southern Arkansas does today. And they will be taking on Ouachita Baptist this afternoon. But for SWOSU, story today is all about Trey Evans. And if you look at stats, he's one of the best scorers in the conference and one of the best players in Division II. But as he goes, SWOSU goes. And SWOSU 4-19 this season overall. It's been a struggle for the Bulldogs this season, but Trey Evans does a little bit of everything for the Bulldogs, and the way to look at it is, kind of like the Houston Rockets with James Harden. He has full decision-making power to, distribute to his teammates or take the ball himself. He gets to the line a lot, and so SNU has a tall task containing him, but at the same time, you got to wonder if they employ the method of trying to contain him or just trying to contain everybody else and see if he can beat them 1-on-5.
Yeah, just a couple of interesting ways it could go. If he's having a great game, it'll be a really interesting game and fun to get to watch how SNU responds to him. Not often you have kind of the one-man contained defense, but like you said, it's a game on a day. Basketball can be an unforgiving sport if it's a tough shooting night. That's when this game starts getting very interesting for SNU. So excited to see what SWOSU brings to the table, how Trey Evans will perform, and how SNU will approach him defensively. But I think you hit it right on the head. That is going to be the big key to the game, how he plays and how SNU addresses him on both ends.
Evans averaging 24 points per game. He's had 262 free throw attempts this season, and he shoots 78% from the free throw line. Also averaging 7.7 rebounds per game. And 32% shooter from three-point range. So we're just about set to go here at the Sawyer Center. We're getting the starters introduced here for SNU and SWOSU. First up for the Bulldogs, number 1, Camden Gibson, 5'11" freshman guard from Oklahoma City, Edmond Santa Fe High School product. Number 3, Daniel Eibel, 6'2" senior guard from Grapevine, Texas. Actually transfer from OCU. Trey Evans, number 5. He's a 6'3" guard, junior from Edmond. Went to Edmond Memorial and is a transfer from Fordham. Number 22, Chris Braggs, 6'3" guard. He's a freshman from Putnam City North High School here in Oklahoma City. And rounding out is Sheck Fall, number 32, 6'6" senior forward from Senegal and transfer from Missouri Western. For SNU, number 3, junior guard Micah Spate, 5'10" from Putnam City North High School. He's averaging 5.5 assists this season, as well as 14.4 points and 4.7 rebounds. Number 15, Zach Johnson, senior guard from Mansfield, Texas. 3.9 points per game, 1.3 steals per game. That's good for 10th in the conference. Number 22, Quaylen Newton, 6'3" guard from Bryan, Texas. Seniors averaging 7.1 points and 6 rebounds per game. Number 25, Jonathan Dunn, coming off a big game against OBU on Thursday night. 6'4" guard from San Antonio, Texas, averaging 18.2 points per game and shooting 37.3% from three-point range. And manning the middle, number 32, the big fella, senior Noah Starkey, 6'11" from Hutchinson, Kansas. He's averaging 14.8 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and has 78 blocks this season. Easily tops in the conference. It's at 2.2 per game. The Russ, a good opportunity here for SNU to get another win, and like you said, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Trey Evans. And just in your personal opinion, what do you think would be the best option as far as containing him today?
Well, I think we may see a lot of double team or a lot of defense by committee. You know, maybe we'll see a little bit of Zach Johnson or Jonathan Dunn on him, trying to put a little height in his face. But I wouldn't be surprised at all to watch Bohach just kind of using whatever seems to be working, trying to throw any kind of combination of that at him, or even throwing some height with him. You know, we've seen SNU run some bigger sets, having Newton and Palmer and maybe even Starkey all on the court at the same time. So I'd be looking for a little team effort here, a little defense by committee, but just anything and everything to slow down Evans, because as you said, that's where Southwestern begins and that's where Southwestern ends.
Both teams on the court as we're set for tip-off. If you missed it earlier, the SNU women with a very game effort against number 13, SWOSU, fell just short, losing 61-55. Look for the men to try to get out early here on the Bulldogs. As Starkey and Fall tip it up, and Starkey with the win there, and SNU will start with possession here. Great crowd on hand here at the Sawyer Center.
Something that always presents a very interesting issue at the beginning of games, looking at how Noah Starkey will match up. Listed at 6'11", the tallest player on the floor right now is Fall for SWOSU at 6'6". At times we've seen that as a major advantage for SNU, and at times when we played Southeastern, that was a major disadvantage for SNU, as Starkey unable to defend some of the more mobile and shooting posts. So very interesting to see how that matchup will play out.
Micah Spate knocks down the three on the first possession for SNU. An air ball from Gibson. And SNU coming quickly back the other way. Jonathan Dunn, high arcing three-pointer is no good. And Eyeball with the rebound. And here comes Trey Evans. Zach Johnson guarding him to start this one. Braggs drives in on Newton and gets the friendly roll. And it's 3-2, SNU early. Dunn with a huge performance against OBU, went 4 for 5 from three-point range, his best performance since a 4 for 7 performance back on January 5th against Henderson State. Zach Johnson, three-pointer goes off the mark, and Noah Starkey tips that one back in.
Tough miss there from Zach Johnson, giving him a lot of room, though, to work with at the top of the key. That was a very nonchalant pop right there. Interesting to see how SNU will respond and if SWOSU will continue to give him space.
Fall well off the mark on the three-point attempt there, and Newton clears for SNU. Dunn gets past Evans. has it ripped away. And Eibel with the steal. Fall. Rejected by Quaylen Newton. Braggs gets it back and missed it. And here comes Zach Johnson. Newton. Foul line. Floater is good. Good find from Zach Johnson to hit the trailing Quaylen Newton. And he got the floater to fall from the middle of the lane. 7-3 SNU leading early. Fall fading, missing. And here comes SNU. Dunn penetrates in the lane, is fouled, puts it up, and in! Jonathan Dunn finishing through contact. And we'll go to the line for a chance to complete the three-point play. Luke Llewellyn into the game for the first time, senior from Elk City. And number 21, Nick Shoemaker, into the game as well for SWOSU, as Fall and Braggs will take a seat. So SWOSU very small right now, and SNU switches to a 2-3 zone. Gibson, three-pointer, is good. Zach Johnson in his face there. So SNU electing to go with a 2-3 zone, and we got a 2-3 zone from SWOSU on the other end. Newton, Johnson, probing, gets it down low to Starkey, who gets around Trey Evans and slams it home.
Yeah, a lot of bodies right now in the paint with that 2-3 zone, but like you said, a little bit of a small ball look, a lot of shorter bodies as Starkey just kind of looking over the top of everyone's heads, hoping for an entry pass. He got it there and took advantage.
Eibel misses the three-pointer. SNU back the other way. High pass for Johnson. He corrals it. Newton from the elbow. Off the mark, no good. Good box out from Eibel on the much taller Starkey.
Eibel listed at 6'2" right now, kind of being given the assignment of maybe some scrappy but fundamental defensive post play, but that'll be a very interesting matchup if Eibel continues to be the one tasked with Starkey in the bottom end of that zone.
Trey Evans clears out Zach Johnson and is called for the offensive foul. And that takes us to a timeout on the court. 15:56 to go first half. SNU up early, 12-5. We'll take timeout too right after this.
When a customer is on the fence about buying a car, we should...
Give him a hug.
No. Next.
Hand hug? Full frontal?
No.
No way.
Guys, practice hugs are not necessary. You don't have to practice hugging.
How about we serenade them?
Well, I'd be happy to sing a song for you.
That's terrible.
Diffie, driven by family since 1950.
The Great American Conference Basketball Championship Tournament returns to the Bruin Fieldhouse in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, March 7th through the 10th. It's all on the line as the league's top teams battle for the conference title and an automatic spot in the NCAA Division II Basketball Regionals. For ticket information and to follow GAC basketball throughout the season, visit GreatAmericanConference.com. The GAC Basketball Tournament, March 7th through the 10th.
Just a reminder, both SNU teams are headed to Bartlesville for the Great American Conference Championships. Those will be March 7th through 10th at Bruin Fieldhouse on the campus of Bartlesville High School up in Bartlesville. And we look forward to bringing you all the coverage of the Crimson Storm that weekend. Hopefully we'll be on the air for multiple days, for both teams. Tournament starts Thursday. We'll know when each team will play later. Right now, the SNU men seem pretty locked into that Thursday as either the 1 or 2 seed, depending how the season ends up. Women, much more fluid situation. Zach Johnson gets inside, back out, Spate. Got Evans to fly by for 3, no. Newton, the offensive rebound, puts it up, missed it. Another tip, no. And Braggs comes away with a rebound, quickly up ahead to Gibson. Shoemaker now back up top to Gibson. He'll set things up for SWOSU. Gibson kicks out to Evans. Now Braggs driving on Spate. A wild pass from Llewellyn goes out of bounds over the head of Braggs. R.J. Palmer will check in for Quaylen Newton.
Right now, like we said, a little bit of small ball for SWOSU. An interesting move to the 2-3 for SNU as maybe leaving some shooters open, but maybe that's a strategy to try and keep Starkey in the paint instead of trying to have him chase and being pulled away.
Dunn pulls the trigger in the corner for 3. That's long. Rebound comes down to Evans. He's bumped, no foul call from Palmer. Evans in the corner, Shoemaker. Now to Gibson. Ball moving very quickly for SWOSU here. Wild pass corralled by Braggs. Now Gibson with it, working it on Zach Johnson. 10 on the shot clock now for the Bulldogs. Fall, long 2 is no good. All white shirts around that rebound. Dunn quickly advances to Zach Johnson. SNU 5 of 11 to start. Make it 6 of 12 as Starkey finishes through contact and the foul.
I don't know that Starkey was fully expecting that pass, but as it came, he was ready for it, able to kind of float up an awkward layup after the contact. Great and one for Noah Starkey going to the line.
Zach Johnson out, Coleman Edwards into the game. Edwards 13 points on Thursday night, a season high for him. Starkey's free throw goes home, and it's 15-5, SNU leading. Eibel into the game for Gibson. Trey Evans yet to take a shot. SNU only won by 5 in Weatherford against the Bulldogs, partly because Trey Evans went off for 40 against the Crimson Storm. Eibel, step back long 2 over Edwards is good.
And that'll be a big key to the game right now if SNU is able to keep Evans in check. Especially with how little he's shooting the ball right now. That's going to be a big advantage for SNU. Looked like R.J. Palmer had a wide open look. He was standing on the block with his back to the basket, kicked it out quick.
Great ball movement. Edwards missed the long 2, but Starkey was able to get the offensive rebound, and he was fouled by Braggs. That's his second team foul already. 4th on SWOSU. Spate hiding in the corner behind Palmer. Splash from 3-point range. Micah Spate with 2 threes early here. And it's an 18-7 lead for the Crimson Storm. No fouls yet for SNU. Trey Evans with a deep 3-pointer. It's long. Fall with the rebound. Shoemaker will try a long 3. Also no good. And Palmer, point forward, leading the charge. Right down the lane, left it short, and Sheck Fall commits his second foul. Excuse me, that's going to be his first. R.J. Palmer will go to the line for 2. Palmer also had a great game on Thursday against OBU. Palmer will knock down the first free throw there. Ashton Charles into the game for Noah Starkey.
An interesting look for it when R.J. Palmer rips down that board and is ready to run. Great opportunity, though, for SNU. Some unconventional ball handlers, like you said, point forward R.J. Palmer. And that time he elected to take it straight to the hoop. Great look for R.J. Palmer.
SNU already with 20 points, 7 minutes into this one. Braggs gets around Ashton Charles, does not get the shot to fall, but he will go to the line for 2 as was able to weasel through Charles on the baseline, and Charles commits his first foul of the game for SNU. Braggs missed the first free throw. One more upcoming. Trey Evans checking in for SWOSU. And Shoemaker will take a seat. One more for Braggs. He missed them both. Braggs a 63% free throw shooter this season. 0 for 2 on that trip. Palmer with the baseline jumper. It's off, no good. Braggs tracks down the rebound. Jackson Dyer also into the game for the first time. Braggs aggressive driving to the basket. Foul will be on the floor, and that will be number 2 on Ashton Charles. So 2 quick ones on Ashton Charles here, and SWOSU will inbound on the baseline. Good hard double coming from Charles on Evans. Braggs will pull the trigger for 3. It's no good, and Micah Spate coming quickly the other way with it. Palmer wide open in the middle of the lane. Left that one short. Gibson has the board. Gibson finds Jackson Dyer. Ball's poked away. Saved by Micah Spate to Palmer. And here comes the Storm. Nice pass to Coleman Edwards. He steps into a three-pointer, leaves that one short. And Gibson has the rebound. Back and forth we go. Gibson lost it. But Dyer picked it up and got it back to him.
SNU has momentum right now, rolling well, but not shooting that great off their last few attempts. 1 for 7 now from 3 as the 3 ball just not quite falling for him. 1 for 5 on the last 5 shots. But great defensive hustle, great dive out of bounds earlier on that last play by Micah Spate. SNU content to play some tough defense in the half court and then get out and run off the rebounds.
Ashton Charles found open in the corner, and he knocks down the three-pointer. Good look from R.J. Palmer. Good inside-out action against that 2-3 zone. Evans trying to drive baseline on Spate, and he gets the foul call on Micah Spate. That'll take us to a timeout on the court. 10:50 to go first half. SNU firmly in control here, up 23-7. We'll take timeout and be right back. This is SNU basketball.
Character, culture, and Christ have been the motto for Southern Nazarene University for many, many years. When I came as president, I was really curious about those words and really curious to dig into the archives. In fact, a conversation on campus one day with a visitor to our campus who asked that same question, what does character, culture, and Christ mean today? These days I like to talk about refining character. I think that we're all in process, and in those collegiate years, those years of a university experience, there's a great opportunity to refine character. And then creating culture. Certainly when we graduate students, they go out and they create culture in classrooms. They create culture in churches. They create culture anywhere they go. Last but certainly not least, in fact I would put it first, and that is serving Christ. I like the fact that it's last because it does undergird everything that we do. Our responsibility, I believe more than anything else, is to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
SNU up 23-7 here at the Sawyer Center. 10:50 to go first half. Our next broadcast will come Thursday night as SNU welcomes in Harding. The Bisons come to town. We'll never understand that. Bison is both singular and plural. We will probably stage a protest on Thursday night and not refer them to the Bisons once. Trey Evans on the backdoor lob is able to get his first 2 points of the game.
Gonna make a stand on that one, Bisons.
We will absolutely make a stand on that one. No doubt about it. Backdoor lob for Starkey. The pass actually went in and out. Better shot than pass, and it deflects out of bounds, and it will be SWOSU ball with 10:19 in the first half. Zach Johnson will check in for Micah Spate.
Starkey kind of gave a little look back to Edwards and said, hey, man, if you're going to shoot the ball, that's fine. Just don't get me involved in it. Now a reset, though, for SNU. Maybe try that one again or just take the shot. But it will be Edwards again in the corner.
Dunn. Thought about a three. Zach Johnson, wide open. Not taking the three.
Nah, that's too much time. He had all the time in the world to think about it. Back door there. Maybe
Back to
Quaylen
Newton. And Starkey is finally fouled.
I think Quaylen Newton thought that pass was going to Starkey. Starkey let it get through. Newton wide open on the backside block, but maybe not ready for the ball to come past Starkey.
Yeah, Edwards with a pair of interesting passes there. the lob for Starkey that went in and out. Better shot. I've seen that happen once before, where the alley-oop pass actually just went in. And then from the corner, he overshot Starkey, but Newton was wide open on the backside. And we end up with Noah Starkey going 1 for 2 from the free throw line and a 24-9 lead for SNU. Trey Evans hasn't been very assertive so far, just 1 of 2 from the field. Gibson leaves it for Fall, kick in the corner, Eyeball for 3. Yes, sir. SNU quickly back the other way. Coleman swinging it around. Zach Johnson fires it into Newton. Back out in the corner for Edwards. Nope.
Right now, Southwestern very content to leave Zach Johnson open. He took it the first time he had the opportunity. Since then, he's not laying off that. That's good discipline, I guess, looking for the better shot, but maybe an opportunity for Zach Johnson to kind of get the shooting going.
Zach Johnson goes right at Fall, missed the left-handed layup. And Gibson up ahead. It's a 3-on-1. Evans is fouled hard by Jonathan Dunn, and I guess the foul wasn't as hard as the fall. First foul on Jonathan Dunn, and Trey Evans will go to the line for 2.
A little bit of aggressiveness there that we haven't yet seen from Evans, but he goes right at the bucket there in the 3-on-1 opportunity. And now maybe an opportunity for him to get some of his shooting going with a couple of free throws.
First one's up and in. Trio of SWOSU players into the game. Shoemaker, Braggs, and Bethany's own Logan O'Neill into the game for the first time. Fall, Gibson, and Llewellyn take a seat. Evans with one more here. And he gets that one to go, and it's a 10-point game, 24-14. SNU's one of their last 6 from the field. It's a 7-1 run overall for SWOSU to cut the lead to 10. Newton at the extended elbow finds Zach Johnson. Johnson with the shot clock running down will take this 3 and knocks it down.
Yeah, hoping to make him pay. They're really leaving Zach Johnson a lot of room to work with, and he's been hesitant that time, though, pulling and knocking the 3 down.
Johnson, a 39% three-point shooter this season. He's only 7 of 18, though. Evans, strong driving layup. Rebound is tipped away from him by Dunn. SNU with numbers. Dunn opts to slow it down a little bit. Fires it down low to Starkey. Back out Johnson. Now inside to Newton. Great ball movement inside out from SNU. And Edwards pays the dividends and knocks down the 3 from the corner. SNU's done that many times, getting the ball inside and quickly firing into the corners. Great offense against that 2-3 zone.
Yeah, they're making him pay right now. I think SWOSU looking to try and play big with Starkey in the post, but just leaving a lot of those passing lanes open. And SNU, lots of quick passing, finding a lot of open three-point shooters.
Bethany's own Logan O'Neill knocks down the 3 from straight away, and SNU's lead is 30-17. Spate and Morris Wilson looking to check in next dead ball. SWOSU staying in that 2-3 zone. Newton in the middle, spins on O'Neill and gets the right-handed hook shot to fall. Good aggressive play there in the middle from Newton, and you love having the senior Newton right there in the middle, having that experience and wherewithal to know what to do in the middle there. Ball is deflected out of bounds. And that will take us to a timeout on the court. 6:36 to go, first half. SNU leading 32-17. We'll take timeout and be right back after this. This is SNU basketball. To the Sawyer Center, SNU leading 32-17. 6:36 to go first half as Morris Wilson checks into the game for the first time this afternoon. Micah Spate also back in. Jonathan Dunn and Coleman Edwards take a seat. And a moving screen called on R.J. Palmer. It looked like he just got caught there as Cameron Gibson was weaseling around him. Going through a little bit of technical difficulties there. The score on the bottom of your screen there is not correct. The time is. The score is not. It's currently 32-17 SNU. We'll get that corrected for you. Evans tries to go hard on Wilson. Unable to do so. R.J. Palmer coast to coast around Llewellyn. Newton with the tip. Palmer managed to establish himself in bounds to corral that. Airballs that shot. And Wilson gets it back up top to Zach Johnson. Wilson open in the corner for three. Well off the mark. And SWOSU coming back the other way. Shoemaker working on Palmer. Cross-court skip pass to O'Neal. Now Llewellyn goes around Newton, who recovers and blocks the shot. Spate coming back the other way. Zach Johnson is also back in for SNU. Again, Southwestern very content. Zach Johnson dives. Now Spate in the corner. He'll pull the trigger for three. Splash. Micah Spate with his third three-pointer of the first half. 35-17. We got a timeout on the court. We'll keep it here, 30-second timeout. SNU, 6 3-pointers so far here in the first half. 6 of 14 from deep, holding SWOSU to 28.6% shooting. We got everything corrected here on our end, so score and time are both correct. Again, Micah Spate, 3 for 4 from three-point range to start this game. Also has a steal and a block. Well-balanced effort so far from SNU. 9 players have played so far, 8 have scored. A lot of 3s and 4s on the board for SNU. Meanwhile, just 3 of 9 from three-point range for SWOSU, and again, 6 of 21 from the field with 4 turnovers. O'Neal left open for three. In and out, and rattles back in. That's an unfortunate bounce there, but a little bit of a defensive breakdown as O'Neal found himself wide open at the top of the key. Ashton Charles back in. Zach Johnson pulls the trigger for another three. In and out, no good.
Very forgiving rim on one end and unforgiving rim on the other.
Eibel not ready for that pass from Llewellyn. Evans gets Charles in the air, drives down the lane, scoop shot, missed it, and a late foul call coming on R.J. Palmer. That's going to be number 2 on R.J. Palmer. Noah Starkey will come get him after this first free throw from Trey Evans. He's 2 for 2 from the line today. And this his second trip to the charity stripe.
Getting a look at Morris Wilson Jr. here for SNU a little earlier in the game than we typically do. Had a great outing Thursday night to great play in the last part of the second half as the game was winding down. Couple of good defensive plays and a big three that he hit to a roaring approval from the crowd. Maybe a fan favorite, but getting some time here early in this first half.
Evans knocks down both free throws. It's 35-22 SNU. Charles looked off and fires the three. Wilson the offensive rebound. Back up top to Jonathan Dunn. Charles going to work on Luke Llewellyn. Spinning. Traveled before he got the shot away. A little bit of pivot foot dragging there and a third turnover for SNU here in the first half. SNU stagnated a little bit offensively.
Yeah, kind of mellowed out here with the pace, and understandably so, as the game stretching a little bit here with this big lead, but SNU intensity a little on the lower end.
Evans went hard into the paint and tripped over somebody's foot. Jonathan Dunn for three, left that short. Ball kicked off of Llewellyn's heel, and Evans comes away with it one-on-one with Spate. And Spate gets in position and takes the offensive foul. Great job from Micah Spate. Did not jump out of position on the juke from Evans, and that will take us to another timeout. 3:36 to go first half. SNU leading by 13, 35-22. We'll be right back after this. This is SNU basketball.
1954.
Okay, guys, remember, no hard selling, no high pressure. Serenading, good. Leave that to Sheldon, all right? Hugs, side hugs. Normal. People don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. You know, these guys may not look like much, but they are some of the greatest guys.
How about a hug?
Diffie, driven by family since 1954.
The Great American Conference Basketball Championship Tournament returns to the Bruin Fieldhouse in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, March 7th through the 10th. It's all on the line as the league's top teams battle for the conference title and an automatic spot in the NCAA Division II Basketball Regionals. For ticket information and to follow GAC basketball throughout the season, visit GreatAmericanConference.com. The GAC Basketball Tournament, March 7th through the 10th. The Great American Conference.
Welcome back. SNU leading 35-22. Just under 4 minutes to play first half. SNU stagnated a little bit offensively here. We do apologize for the technical issues here, the little spotty connections we have right now, but we'll get that all worked out at halftime for you. On the court right now, Newton, Spate, Wilson, Starkey, and Dunn for SNU. Dyer, Fall, Gibson, Shoemaker, and Eibel for Southwestern. Morris Wilson, the freshman from Northwest Classen High School here in Oklahoma City, a guy that Coach Adam Bohach is very excited about, and a push coming on Jackson Dyer. Noah Starkey will go to the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity, as that's Dyer's first, 8th team foul on the Bulldogs.
Dyer with a little bit of height of his own, 6'9", tallest player listed for SWOSU. However, that freshman, little thin and maybe a little inexperienced with some big man play at this level, a tough matchup against the much developed, stronger, and much more coordinated Noah Starkey.
Second free throw is up and good. Starkey hits them both. Trey Evans coming back in for SWOSU after a quick breather. Dyer will take a seat. And SWOSU goes back small again. SWOSU's coach, Terry Evans. Of course, he's Trey Evans' father and a former OU player in his own right. Good player at OU back in the early 90s. Evans goes baseline, is fouled from behind by Starkey, who I believe they're going to get here, and that will be the first foul on Noah Starkey today. Starkey already up to 10 points. It's 4 or 5 from the foul line and perfect from the field. Also has 3 rebounds. Evans hits the first one. And he'll have one more as SNU leads by 14 here. Second free throw rattles off. Gibson gets inside of Dunn and takes it away. Fall. Spate tried to take the charge, but Fall goes through him and no foul called. Spate pushing the other way as SNU's lead is down to 12.
A little bit of a spark here from SWOSU, kind of coming back on some gritty defense and some hustle offense as a quick foul there for SWOSU. Excuse me, foul on Noah Starkey going the other way now.
That's going to be the second on Starkey. A loose ball situation there between Gibson, Starkey, and Dunn, and they peg Starkey with the foul there. Brady Mulkey off the bench into the game for Starkey. Mulkey, a strong showing on Thursday against Oklahoma Baptist. Coleman Edwards also in for Mo Wilson. Gibson gets the first free throw to go. SNU down to just 38.7% shooting here in the first half. They're 12 of 31. They're 1 of their last 8 from the field and 1 of their last 5 threes. Gibson misses the second free throw, so it's an 11-point game, 2:40 and counting here in the first half. Dunn goes around the Mulkey pick. Edwards finds Newton at the foul line. SWOSU out of that zone now. Edwards trying to find Mulkey, and that's blocked out of bounds by Dyer. SNU will inbound on the baseline with 9 on the shot clock. Spate gets it into Edwards. 5 on the shot clock for Jonathan Dunn. He's going to have to hurry. Pulls up from the mid-range. It's long, and Dyer has the rebound. Rebound's knocked away by Newton, but they're going to peg Quaylen with that foul. It's going to be the first foul on Newton, and Jackson Dyer will go to the foul line for 2. Are we still 1-1? 9th team foul. Wilson will check in for Newton. Russ a little sloppy on the offensive end for SNU.
Yeah, SNU got out to a great quick start at the beginning of this first half, and now kind of just lazy, lackadaisical play, kind of being lulled to sleep right now. A small, 10, 11-point lead, and it's kind of been there through majority of this first half. But SNU may be playing a little bit content right now with the lead and the score.
Spate, nice lead for Brady Mulkey, and he is fouled by Sheck Fall. So Brady Mulkey will go to the line for 2 free throws. He's a 77% free throw shooter, the junior from Royce City, Texas. He's appeared in 19 games this season. And he knocks down the first free throw. Comes the 9th SNU player to score today. Second free throw is up, in and out, no good. Under 2 minutes to go, first half, SNU leading by 12. Gibson penetrating, kick in the corner, eyeball for 3, and he got another one. Daniel Eyeball, his second three-pointer, and the lead's down to single digits for SNU. SWOSU back in a 2-3 zone. Morris Wilson at the elbow with it. Nice bounce pass into Mulkey, up and under, missed it. Morris, the rebound, no. And Shoemaker saves it to Trey Evans, and here come the Bulldogs. Eyeball driving baseline, kick back Evans. Got Wilson in the air, inside for the long two, and he knocks it down. Timeout SNU. We're down to a minute to play here in the first half. Noah Starkey will come check in. The lead is down to 7 here, Russ, as SNU unable to really get anything going on the offensive end over the last couple minutes. It's a 14-3 run for the Bulldogs over the last 4.5 minutes of game action. The lead was once 35-17 and now down to 38-31. And certainly no shortage of opportunities as SNU has managed 9 offensive rebounds, but just 5 second chance points to show for it.
Yeah, the shooting touch has fallen away right now for SNU. Like you said, not shooting the ball very well. Right now, 34% on the game. Got out to that quick, early lead. They were shooting the ball really well. They had a lot of energy, but right now, maybe playing down a little bit and not taking full advantage of the opportunities. Lots of good offensive boards, but not finishing off of all of those attempts. And now allowing SWOSU to kind of creep back into this one.
Wilson at the high post. Dunn. Lost the pass there. He gets it back. 7 on the shot clock. It's cut off at the foul line. Edwards. Entry pass to Starkey's going to have to hurry. Edwards forces up the deep 3, and he got it to go! Used every bit of the shot clock, but SNU able to capitalize and push the lead back to 10. Shot clock is off for SWOSU. They will hold for the final shot here. SNU in a 2-3 zone of their own, trying to keep Noah Starkey from getting that third foul. Gibson driving kick. O'Neal will fire up another 3. That's off the mark, and Starkey has the rebound. That's how the first half will end here at the Sawyer Center. 41-31 SNU leads at the break. When we come back, we'll have first half stats and analysis and get you ready for the second half of action. This is SNU basketball.
Character, culture, and Christ have been the motto for Southern Nazarene University for many, many years. When I came as president, I was really curious about those words and really curious to dig into the archives. In fact, a conversation on campus one day with a visitor to our campus who asked that same question, what does character, culture, and Christ mean today? These days I like to talk about refining character. I think that we're all in process, and in those collegiate years, those years of a university experience, there's a great opportunity to refine character. And then creating culture. Certainly when we graduate students, they go out and they create culture in classrooms. They create culture in churches. They create culture anywhere they go. Last but certainly not least, in fact I would put it first, and that is serving Christ. I like the fact that it's last because it does undergird everything that we do. Our responsibility, I believe more than anything else, is to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to the Sawyer Center. It's halftime, and SNU leading 41-31 over Southwestern Oklahoma State. And a kind of a rough finish to the half there, Russ. SNU led by as many as 18 in the first half, but SWOSU closed on a 14-6 run to cut the lead down to 10 at the break, and SNU shooting just 36% from the field. They did make 7 3-pointers in the first half. They're 8 for 10, from the foul line, but also allowed SWOSU 5 of 12 shooting from 3-point range and 37% on their side as well. So just kind of a little uneven first half performance for the Crimson Storm.
Yeah, and it's, with guys college basketball, you only get the 1/2 split, but kind of felt like a tale of two halves of that half, if you will. SNU guys came out firing, came out looking very confident in the offense, pushing the tempo and really just doing what they needed to do. They were containing Trey Evans very well early and really playing defense well. And as that lead stretched out to about 15 or so, kind of calmed down a little bit, let the pace of the game slow down. And since then, SNU, just the game has really lulled and maybe felt a little bit stagnant.
Again, SNU 36% from the field. Noah Starkey led the way with 10 points in the first half, 4 or 5 from the foul line to go along with 4 rebounds and an assist. He did pick up 2 fouls. R.J. Palmer and Ashton Charles also with 2 fouls each. That's it as far as foul trouble is concerned for SNU. Jonathan Dunn just 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting after a 26-point performance on Thursday, and that's kind of been the story of Jonathan Dunn's season. Just a little bit uneven and inconsistent, just searching for that steady play throughout the year. It seems anytime he has a really good game and a little bit of a lull tends to follow in that next one.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours for Jonathan Dunn. We've talked about some of the inconsistency with shooting. We even talked to Coach Adam Bohach about it, and we really felt like that was a great on-track game for Dunn, and now team not in jeopardy right now with a nice 10-point lead. But Dunn's shooting performance not been incredible here tonight. Hasn't been able to find his stroke. So hopefully in this second half, he's able to get it going a little bit better.
Micah Spate did knock down 3 of his 4 3-point attempts in the first half. 9 points for him. He did not have an assist in the first half. Not sure the last time that happened in a half of basketball for Micah Spate, as he's number 2 in the conference in assists at 5.5 per game. Zach Johnson did have 4 assists, and we talked a little bit on Thursday about maybe seeing Zach Johnson be a little bit more assertive in his shot, and SWOSU gave him plenty of space there in the first half. Certainly had an opportunity to take more than the 4 shots he did, and particularly the more than 3 3-pointers that he took in the first half. But Johnson patient and certainly playing within the offense by not taking advantage every time down of having the space to shoot.
Yeah, Zach Johnson, not a bad shooter at all, but certainly not a high-volume shooter. And that's kind of what we saw in this first half off the scouting report. SWOSU was very content to give him room around the top of the key, especially when he was straight on. And so maybe look for Zach to try and take more of those opportunities. He had a couple where he kind of looked at the basket and hesitated and maybe took the shot later on the next time. But he's been given a lot of opportunities, and with Dunn struggling to shoot the ball, maybe this is an opportunity for him to get his stroke going.
SNU comes back out in a 2-3 zone. Braggs from the foul line missed it, and Newton has the rebound. Trey Evans had 9 points in the first half, and Daniel Eibel with 8 points to pace the Bulldogs. Jonathan Dunn, corner 3, splash! A perfect start for Jonathan Dunn, his first 3-pointer of the game.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Maybe he heard us from down there, stepped up to that challenge and drained the corner dagger.
Trey Evans, 3-pointer from the middle of the S of Storm off to the right. Jonathan Dunn coming back the other way for SNU. Spate finds Newton, and he's going to be fouled by Sheck Fall. It's going to be number 3 on Fall. Cameron Gibson not starting the second half here. He's got his warm-up on. He's the only one on the SWOSU bench with a warm-up shirt on, so not sure if he's available for the second half. He was late coming out for warm-ups as well prior to the second half starting, so not sure if he's available for the second half. The SWOSU bench very thin over there. They've only got Luke Llewellyn, Jackson Dyer, and Logan O'Neill over there on the bench besides Cameron Gibson. So thin lineup here for Coach Terry Evans. O'Neill, Bethany High School's own, knocked down 2 3-pointers off the bench in the first half for 6 points. Ball's deflected. Last touch by Eibel. And we'll go over to SNU. That's the 6th turnover for SWOSU today. And SNU quickly pushing the lead out to 15 with a chance for more here. Just a minute gone by in the second half. Solid crowd on here, here at the Sawyer Center as most of the SWOSU crowd from the girls' game stuck around, and that's going to be a goaltending call on Sheck Fall as Quayla Newton gets the credit for the bucket there, and Cameron Gibson does, in fact, come in for Fall here, so good to see Gibson is all right for the Bulldogs. And a quick 7-0 burst for SNU, pushes the lead to 48-31, just what the doctor ordered if you're the Crimson Storm, and Evans with the travel, trying to get into the body of Noah Starkey. Took one too many steps before he was able to do that.
Yeah, Evans trying to come out a little bit more aggressive than he did in the beginning of the first half. He's really attacking right now, trying to get scoring going for his team, who finds themselves down a little bit and in jeopardy of going down a little bit more.
Starkey with a massive size advantage on the 6'3" Braggs, and he takes advantage and spins home the little scoop shot. It's all SNU here early in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Braggs back out top. Trey Evans for 3. It's off the mark, and Quayla Newton another rebound. It's his 9th of the afternoon. Jonathan Dunn, another 3. It's off. Evans cleared Newton out to get that rebound. Coach Bohach applauding the effort from Newton. Eibel for 3, short. And that's the 10th rebound for Quayla Newton. He's got 8 points.
Layup away from a double-double.
Spate working on Evans. It's the ball knocked away, but Newton has it. Now Zach Johnson, guarded by Gibson. 10 on the shot clock now for SNU. Spade hits the diving Noah Starkey, and he's going to be fouled by Chris Braggs. And Starkey will go to the line for 2. His 3rd foul on Braggs. 2nd team foul on the Bulldogs here in the second half. Starkey, a 73% free throw shooter this season. Knocks down the first. It's perfect from the field today, 4 for 4. And with this foul shot, his 7th attempt from the free throw line this afternoon. Missed that one. Dunn inside, gets the rebound. Kicks it to Spate. And Newton will get it back to Micah Spate. Another entry pass into Starkey, and Braggs flops.
Tough call.
Went down like he got shot by a sniper. He couldn't have hit the floor faster if he tried. And that's going to be the 3rd foul on Noah Starkey. Coach Adam Bohach not pleased.
Yeah, ref call. Hearing a little bit from the Sawyer faithful here too, as just a call you were not expecting to get.
Eibel gets the jumper to fall through. SNU maintaining an 18-point lead here. Blake Johnson wide open, opts for the entry pass to Starkey, and he gets the left-hand shot to go.
Great unselfishness by Zach Johnson, but again, they're leaving him wide open, giving him that room and challenging him to take that 3. They're not concerned right now about Zach Johnson beating him with a 3.
Shoemaker a deep 3 for the Bulldogs. And Sheck Fall going to check back in for SWOSU next dead ball.
Luke, it doesn't even look like anyone is guarding him when Zach Johnson, I mean, they're way off playing just completely in the lane, 100% help D when he has the ball. And with that kind of disrespect, you got to step up and show them that they can't do that to you anymore.
Spate trying for three. It's off the mark. The foul is going to be called on Quaylen Newton, trying to get position on Trey Evans. That's going to bring us to a timeout on the court. Just the second foul on Quaylen Newton. And we go to this timeout with SNU leading 53-36. 15:45 to go. We'll be back after this timeout. This is SNU basketball.
When a customer is on the fence about buying a car, we should
Give him a hug.
No. Next.
Hand hug? Full frontal?
No.
No way.
Guys, practice hugs are not necessary. You don't have to practice hugging.
How about we serenade them?
Well, I'd be happy to sing a song for you.
That's terrible.
Diffie, driven by family since 19.
Just a reminder, our next broadcast coming your way Thursday evening as SNU continues this 6-game homestand, taking on Harding. Women set to tip off at 5:30 p.m. We'll be on the air about 5:15 for pregame, and the men's game to follow right after that. And just a reminder, we will be live streaming the recognition ceremony for Athletic Director Bobby Martin in between the girls and guys game. That will be immediately following the women's game against Harding, so we hope you'll stick around for that afterward, and we'll have complete coverage of that as we recognize Bobby Martin on his retirement after many years of service here at SNU. Gibson well off on the three. Starkey and Newton battle for the rebound, and Dunn comes away with it. Zach Johnson from the foul line. He knocked it down. Zach Johnson up to 5 points to go along with a team high 5 assists. 12 assists on 18 made baskets for SNU this afternoon. Gibson manning the middle of that zone. Misses the foul line jumper, and Spate has the rebound. SNU using that advantage they have in the paint with Starkey. Spate is fouled by Gibson on the jump shot, and Micah Spate will go to the line for two. First foul on Gibson this afternoon. Third team foul on SWOSU here in the second half. First one's up and good for Spate. SNU has led wire to wire so far here. Spate knocks down the second. RJ Palmer will check in for Quaylen Newton. In a massive afternoon for Newton, 8 points, 10 rebounds. Micah Spate joins Noah Starkey in double figures now with 11.
Nice all-around performance here by SNU. A lot of players with points on the board and a lot of players sharing the workload. That's another foul call there. A tough call on. What looked like, did they get done on that?
Yeah, got done on fouling Trey Evans on the arm there. A lot of ball, a little bit of arm. Just enough to call the foul, I guess. So Evans will go back to the free throw line. So free throws 7 and 8 for him. Llewellyn and O'Neal in for Shoemaker and Eibel. One more coming for Evans. Missed it long, and Palmer has the rebound. SNU leading by 20, 57-37. 14:20 to go in this one.
Back in that 2-3 zone, stretching out on Spate especially, but kind of leaving Johnson out on his own. SNU trying to penetrate here on the 2-3.
Starkey has to
and they're going to call a shot clock violation. Clock didn't reset after the Starkey miss. Did he get rim on that?
I'm not sure. It looks like it from this angle, but kind of hard to tell.
I guess they're
the
going
way
to.
that Fall gets the reverse layup to go. They did not take a look at that. Coach Adam Bohach wanted them to at least review that. From this angle, it didn't look like there was a weird bounce off the rim, so it easily could have missed and just hit the backboard. R.J. Palmer certainly thought it did, and from that angle, Adam Bohach thought it did as well. But either way, it's an 18-point game right now. And SNU content to feed Noah Starkey in the post. Palmer now at the free throw line, probing, little floater, gets the friendly roll. Coleman Edwards set to check in next dead ball. SNU opting to stick in their 2-3 zone as well. Evans from the foul line is no good. Fall gets the rebound.
Oh, and watch out.
And lost it out of bounds. It's a last touch by SNU. Zach Johnson will take a seat. So SWOSU will inbound on the baseline. 28 on the shot clock. Eibel will check in for Gibson. Eibel finds Llewellyn, who got free underneath.
Wide open.
Forgot about Luke Llewellyn down there.
Right under the basket. They'd been in that 2-3, so interesting that someone could slip through a 2-3 like that. A nice dunk there on the feed. Noah Starkey with the slam, and there's some energy that the Sawyer Center has been missing for a while.
And the foul on Shaq Fall. It's going to be number 4 on Fall. Much to the pleasure of the SNU students there on that end of the arena. Kind of a slow motion play there. You kind of saw it happening. Starkey gets the bounce there. Ashton Charles will check in for him. Chris Braggs back into the game for O'Neill. Starkey having himself a day. 17 points and 4 rebounds. 2 assists for the senior.
Yeah, when Noah goes up on those big dunks, he likes to reach way back, but when he really gets them, he kind of does the little knee pull up. And I think I'm a firm believer the knee show just makes the dunk look that much impressive, much more impressive.
Dyer driving in and is stripped and fouled. That foul's going to go on R.J. Palmer. It's going to be number 3 on R.J. Palmer. Fourth team foul for SNU. Dyer missed everything with that free throw. Wide left of the rim.
He's hearing it a little bit.
He got all backboard. Football guys down in this corner are letting him hear about it. Trey Evans will take a seat, getting a quick breather right before the under 12 timeout. And then Dyer counters by banking in the next free throw. He'll show us.
At a certain point, your only goal becomes hit something. And that time he hit something and got the bucket.
Eibel with the hold, trying to corral Jonathan Dunn.
How often do you see bank shot free throws?
Pretty much never. And there's a reason for it.
It worked for him, though. I was right on. No rim or anything.
SWOSU goes man. Dunn gets by Llewellyn on the backdoor cut and then is called for a double dribble. Didn't think he dribbled. It looked like more that first bounce was just corralling the pass, but the official counted that as a dribble. Trey Evans back in, so that quick rest before the timeout not happening apparently. Cameron Gibson working against that 2-through zone. RJ Palmer in the middle of that zone. Trey Evans will back it out, guarded by Edwards right there. Under 10 on the shot clock. Llewellyn forces up the foul line jumper. It's off. Jonathan Dunn has the rebound. His 9th of the afternoon. Long lead pass up ahead to Palmer, who lays it in. Great look from Jonathan Dunn to Palmer. Swing pass, Braggs driving baseline, shovels it over to Llewellyn. Left the left-handed layup short. He wanted a foul. Palmer coming back the other way with it, all the way to the rim. Missed the dunk. Got in too close. Didn't have enough space to go up with it.
Point Palmer trying to go coast to coast with the slam.
And Trey Evans knocks down the 3 on the other end. The timeout is called by Terry Evans. Full timeout on the court. We'll take timeout 2. 11:30 to go in this one. SNU comfortably ahead, 64-45. We'll be right back after this.
This is where I use the skills I've learned. This is where the moments I love happen. This is where I grew up, and it's also where I serve.
In the U.S. Army Reserve, you train at least 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. Here, you learn the skills to lead and succeed in life while staying close to home. Part-time service, full-time success. GoArmyReserve.com.
Okay, guys, remember, no hard selling, no high pressure. Serenading, good. Leave that to Sheldon. All right? Hugs, side hugs. Normal. People don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. You know, these guys may not look like much, but they are some of the greatest guys.
How about a hug?
Diffie, driven by family since 1954.
Welcome back to the Sawyer Center. SNU leading 64-45 and a much more efficient offensive showing here in the second half for SNU. 8 of 12 from the field, 6 of 7 from the foul line. Russ, what's been working for the Crimson Storm?
Right now, getting out and applying some pressure. They're running. They're looking to get the ball down the court quickly, whether that be in the hands of Spate, Dunn, or even Point Palmer running down the floor. But right now, pushing tempo, trying to get good looks, and kind of using some of these mismatches. You know, SNU seeming, especially with a lot of their forwards, to be much bigger and longer in a lot of these matchups. And they're taking advantage of that right now.
SWOSU going man. Ashton Charles left wing for 3, left it short. Rebound tipped, and Eibel's the one who comes up with it. Cameron Gibson shovels over to Braggs. Leaning shot is no good. Charles clears. Spate that back the other way. Floater looking for Charles. He's undercut by Braggs. That's going to be number 4 on Chris Braggs. Good look from Micah Spate. And that will take us to an official timeout on the court. 10:55 to go. Same score, 64-45. SNU leading this one. And again, we'll take timeout and be right back after this. This is SNU basketball.
Character, culture, and Christ have been the motto for Southern Nazarene University for many, many years. When I came as president, I was really curious about those words and really curious to dig into the archives. In fact, a conversation on campus one day with a visitor to our campus who asked that same question: what does character, culture, and Christ mean today? These days I like to talk about refining character. I think that we're all in process, and in those collegiate years, those years of a university experience, there's a great opportunity to refine character. And then creating culture. Certainly when we graduate students, they go out and they create culture in classrooms. They create culture in churches. They create culture anywhere they go. Last but certainly not least, in fact I would put it first, and that is serving Christ. I like the fact that it's last because it does undergird everything that we do. Our responsibility, I believe more than anything else, is to serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Ashton Charles at the line for 2 free throws, leading by 19. Charles knocks down the first one. 70% free throw shooter this season. Second one is up and good for the sophomore from Spring, Texas. In high school at Klein Collins. Eibel at the foul line. Trick kick out to Evans. Floater in the lane is short. And Dunn clears. His 10th rebound of the day. Spate shovels corner. Edwards. Long on the three-pointer. Good box out by Braggs with 4 fouls on Palmer. Get that rebound.
SNU back in that 2-3, looking to make them beat them from deep. They're a driving foul. And kind of a reaction there from Ashton Charles, but I think they'll get R.J. Palmer on that foul as Gibson, excuse me, not Gibson, Chris Braggs driving to the bucket. He'll have an opportunity now for 2 from the line. A couple of words being exchanged between Ashton Charles and the ref.
There's the 4th foul on R.J. Palmer, 15th foul. Starkey and Newton back into the game for Palmer and Charles. Jackson Dyer also back in for Shoemaker.
Newton back in the game. Reminder, he's got 10 boards and 8 points, so just 1 bucket away from that double-double. And do you think he knows that? You think that's on his mind, or just kind of out there playing?
Oh, I'm sure he's just out there hustling. Edwards, foul line jumper. Off the mark, no good. Dyer tips the rebound over to Trey Evans. Very quick shot from Edwards there. SNU still leading by 20. SNU still running that 2-3 zone. Gibson floating it up over Dyer, no. Spate nearly pickpocketed. Oh, and a nice look, no-look pass from Spate, and Newton throws down the dunk to give himself a double-double.
And that's the way to do it, with a little bit of style there on the dunk. Nice find to the cutting Newton, who throws it down with authority.
Evans, a deep three-pointer. It's short. Jonathan Dunn saves it, goes into the second row of bleachers in the process, and Eibel knocks down the three-pointer while Jonathan Dunn was enjoying the view from the stands. Dunn barrels into Trey Evans, and that's an offensive foul on Jonathan Dunn.
Kind of a lighter crowd in attendance this Saturday afternoon. Maybe lucky that's kind of over by some of our retired alumni section there. Could have had a one Jonathan Dunn in their lap on that diving play.
Morris Wilson into the game for Coleman Edwards. And when I say enjoying the view from the stand, I certainly don't mean Dunn was lackadaisical in getting back onto the court in any way.
Honestly, that was impressive. Those are not the regular bleachers that are beneath us here. They're the fixed chair, so he dove over the folding chair style bleachers down here and then worked his way out of there. Happy to see he's not injured, but definitely a view from 2 rows up.
Newton tips the Dunn 3 away, but Trey Evans comes away with it. That last bucket for SWOSU for Jackson Dyer right over Noah Starkey. The lead is 17 for SNU. They've led the entire way and kind of held SWOSU at an arm's distance the entire time. Dyer is fouled underneath by Starkey, and that's going to be number 4 on Noah Starkey. So a little bit of foul trouble inside for SNU. Brady Mulkey will come get Noah Starkey, so some good extended run upcoming for Brady Mulkey. Dyer long on the first free throw attempt.
Brady Mulkey for Starkey.
Starkey will take a seat with 18 points. It's a game high. Dyer, second one, also long, and Dunn has his 11th rebound. Dunn working on the right wing. It's a screen from Mulkey. Ball swings around and finds Spate. 10 on the shot clock. Jonathan Dunn from the elbow. Knocked on the elbow by Trey Evans, and he'll go to the line for two. Jonathan Dunn doing what he does, creating a little space for himself and being aggressive still, even though just 2 for 8 from the field today, 1 of 6 from 3. This was second trip to the foul line today. He gets the first one to roll home.
Yeah, not an outstanding scoring performance from Dunn this afternoon. 6, kind of hiding a little bit there behind the 18 from Starkey, 11 from Spate, and 10 now from Newton. SNU, though, to end the stretch, and especially as we move closer to tournament time, going to need more production from Dunn, like we've seen that he has the ability to contribute.
Evans steps into a quick 3. He missed that. Fall tips the rebound out, but Dunn has it, pushing, and he's fouled by Eibel going to the basket, and that will send Dunn to the foul line for a 1-on-1 opportunity when we come back. That's going to be a third foul on Daniel Eibel. So a timeout on the court, 7:57 to go in this one. 70-51 SNU leads. We'll be right back after this.
Basketball Championship Tournament returns to the Bruin Fieldhouse in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, March 7th through the 10th. It's all on the line as the league's top teams battle for the conference title and an automatic spot in the NCAA Division II Basketball Regionals. For ticket information and to follow GAC basketball throughout the season, visit GreatAmericanConference.com. The GAC Basketball Tournament, March 7th through the 10th.
Just a reminder, we will have complete coverage of the SNU men and women from the Great American Conference Championships in Bartlesville, March 7th through 10th, and we hope to be there for all 4 days, March 7th through 10th. We'll see what the standings shake out for, but looks like the men will for sure play on Thursday as the number 1 or 2 seed. The women could play Thursday or Friday. They're in a log jam at second coming into today. Jonathan Dunn hits the first of a 1-on-1. They were in a log jam for second in the conference behind Southwestern coming into today's matchup, and we'll see how that shakes out for you as the next 2 weeks progress. SNU would certainly like to probably grab one of those second or third seeds and avoid playing Southwestern until the finals.
Yeah, we talked about their schedule a little bit on the ladies' side. A tough game today against that probable number 1 seed. And a little bit of a tough schedule ahead of them, so interesting to see how that will shake out for them in the ladies' GAC conference standings.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a challenge as they're Southwestern number 1 in the conference, and then coming into today, SNU was tied for second with Harding and Henderson State. They do have the tiebreaker over the Reddies thanks to a season sweep. Noah Starkey back in for Brady Mulkey. But they did drop the road game at Harding earlier this season, a game in which they committed 30 fouls. So you know that they'll be looking to correct that here on Thursday night. That will be a 5:30 tip-off, and then East Central sitting right there at 11-6. So a lot of possibilities for the SNU women as far as seeding goes down the stretch. Jonathan Dunn inside for the long two, and he knocks that down.
Good stroke there for Dunn. Now sitting at 12 points. Double-double of his own at 12 points, 12 rebounds.
Evans gets inside, wild shot. And that foul is going to go on Quaylen Newton, I believe. That's going to be number 3 on Q. Jonathan Dunn with that last bucket gives him 10 points. So he has a double-double.
Everybody gets a double-double. 14 points now for Evans. Not on an incredible shooting night, though. Like we talked about, 3 of 13 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Taking some deeper shots over his defenders, but really just not coming shooting it quite as well as he did in that game at Southwestern, where he dropped 40 on SNU. So we talked about him at the beginning of the game, talking about how he was the pressure point for SNU, and if they were able to shut him down, they would have a very easy time of this game.
Morris Wilson trapped on the sidelines and wisely calls the timeout. 30-second timeout will keep it here.
SWOSU looking to put a little pressure on here with the full court. Is that, at this point, why go to that looking for errors and not have gone to that earlier?
Yeah, you certainly wonder, and with the score 74-55, what I believe we're working out here. We've got one score in front of us on the stats and one on the scoreboard. So we'll get that corrected for you. I believe the score should be 74-55.
Yeah, I think they gave Jonathan Dunn a 3 on that last deep two.
I think SWOSU is 1 short on the scoreboard. So we'll see what we get all checked out. Either way, SNU in control. Dunn from the elbow. Just a smooth shot from him. And whenever his shots are falling, you got to love seeing how smooth that is. Trey Evans, floater in the lane is no good. Starkey clears for SNU. Evans just 3 of 14 from the field today. Newton with Braggs on him. It just backs him down and puts it in. Chris Braggs offering little resistance there with 4 fouls. And SNU leading now 78-54. Gibson finds Braggs, top of the key for 3. That's no good. Newton smartly tips that rebound over to Micah Spate. Spate tried to go behind the back to Newton, got tangled up in his legs. Long lead pass up ahead to Evans. Tried to just put it up off the glass, and Newton blocked that one. Fall got the offensive rebound and tried to put it down. The foul's going to go on Jonathan Dunn. That's going to be number 4 now on Dunn. As we're under 6 minutes to play, a trio of SNU players with 4 fouls.
Fouls on Jonathan Dunn.
And that was just a tough sequence there for Southwestern. The chase down block by Q on Evans, and then the dunk off the back iron. They'll be bailed out with the foul call and have an opportunity for 2, but just a little glimpse so far of some of their offensive frustrations.
Fall misses the first free throw. Mass substitutions for Southwestern and SNU alike. Spate and Dunn will take a seat. Eibel, Dyer, and Llewellyn back in for SWOSU. Zach Johnson and Coleman Edwards come into the game for SNU. Fall missed both free throws. Zach Johnson will run the point for SNU. For SNU, the next 2 home games, Harding struggling mightily. They've lost 14 in a row coming into today. Gibson fouls Noah Starkey.
That was a great layup there by Starkey with the defenders all around him put it down. They're going to call it on the floor, though. He'll be in the bonus, so get to shoot. He kind of gave a wry smile after getting those points waved off.
First one is good. So again, Harding struggling mightily coming into today. They've lost 14 straight. They're 5-18 overall. Just a game better than SWOSU. And then Arkansas Tech next Saturday should be a tough one. The Wonder Boys, and Starkey puts it down again. Timeout SNU as the lead is ballooned to 27, 81-54. We'll keep it here. But SNU lost that game at Arkansas Tech 85-74, just giving up way too many three-pointers in that game. It certainly will be a challenge guarding the three-point line, but you know SNU will be out for a little bit of payback against Arkansas Tech in that one, and Arkansas Tech has fallen off considerably since that game. They're just 7-10 in conference, 9-14 overall. Of course, they got off to just a horrendous start in conference play, and that win for the Wonder Boys was sort of a pick-me-up, if you will, for Arkansas Tech. But they just have not been able to put it together this year. But still a tough game for SNU before a brutal road trip to close the season at Southern Arkansas and at Arkansas Monticello. So it will be a tough game. And Russ, I think the key for these next two games for SNU is going to be just maintaining that focus and not looking too far down the road. Because even with a road trip to Southern Arkansas, you know, SNU could be in firm control of the conference race, even with a loss there to the Mule Riders.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting little series here to play out for SNU, but we'll be excited to watch and excited to see how that plays out, and excited especially to see how SNU keeps their national ranking. They're right now ranked at 17th after falling from 10th last week after that tough loss at the hands of Southeastern Oklahoma State. But they're playing well, you know, and the Arkansas Tech matchup will be an interesting one to see how SNU responds to that loss. We talked about the big matchup, kind of a revenge game almost against Southeastern, and that game a tough loss for SNU. So trying to come in with that chip and that desire to win, but not coming in, like you said, too focused, looking ahead too far to Bartlesville, or too focused on the revenge storylines, as SNU just needs to come in and take care of business.
Russ, how much do you think that postseason experience has paid off for SNU this year? You know, they almost ran the table in conference play, won the conference tournament, got to the NCAA tournament for the first time in D2, and while they came up short in their first round game against St. Cloud, you know, that postseason experience certainly a big deal for, you know, SNU this season and wanting to get back to that.
Yeah, I think because of that, they came back all business, you know, returning a majority of their role players, losing Jared Starkey, but, you know, that they had a taste of it. They knew what it was like, and they came back ready to play. And even at the beginning of the year without Quaylen Newton, SNU kind of was all business, you know. They knew what it had been like. They'd been there and tasted it and knew that they wanted to get back. With so many of these players in the rotation getting so many minutes, held over from last year, there's a little bit of professionalism, a little bit of, you know, we know what it takes to get there. We know what that requires, and we want to do that again. And so far this season, they've really proven they know how to get there. They know what it takes to get there, and they're ready to do it again, try to make another run and maybe go a little bit deeper into the playoffs if they're able to make it to the NCAA bracket again.
Edwards knocks down the three-pointer there. He's 3 for 7 from deep today. It's the 9th three-pointer for SNU. They're 9 of 25. R.J. Palmer got the block. The foul is going to go, I believe, against Coleman Edwards, and that will take us to a timeout on the court 3:57 to go in this one. SNU in firm control, up 86-56 over Southwestern. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Under 4 minutes to go here at the Sawyer Center. SNU leading by 30, 86-56, and looking out to close out another win in conference play, moving to 15-3. Update from Arkadelphia. Ouachita Baptist up by 7 against Southern Arkansas at the under 8 timeout. Of course, Southern Arkansas just a game behind SNU in the conference standings. SNU won the first matchup between the Crimson Storm and the Mule Riders here, as Jackson Dyer banks in another free throw.
Hey, you know, with free throws, I feel like it's so much less about shooting form and more just about consistency. And if that's working for him, Coach always said, I don't care how you shoot it, just shoot it the same way every time.
Splits the pair, and SNU will look to finish this one out. Morris Wilson, kick in the corner to Ashton Charles, and Charles knocks down a three-pointer.
Big confident stroke from Charles, and that's been a big storyline this year, is the emergent confident play from Ashton Charles. Maybe more hesitant to take that kind of a shot earlier in the season, but with the coach's confidence, that's a shot he pulls up and makes more often than not.
Trey Evans diving through. R.J. Palmer fouled by Dyer. Didn't get the shot to go, but he'll go to the line for two. As SNU continues to push the pace here with the second unit. Brady Mulkey set to check in, along with Chris Stevens. Chris Stevens did not play on Thursday. He was out with an illness. Probably still recovering a little bit from that. This will be his first action of the game. Palmer misses the first one. Chris Stevens coming in for Zach Johnson. Eibel and Fall back in for Llewellyn and Gibson.
Chris Stevens, number 13, for SNU.
Palmer hits the second one, and he'll check out. Brady Mulkey will check in. 3:18 to go in this one. SNU sitting at 90. Can we get the century mark for the second straight game, Russ?
Well, they're looking like they're on pace for that. I would be interested to see what Bo Hotch's game plan is moving forward into these last few minutes. We on Thursday night maybe was not Bo Hotch's plan to continue scoring that late in the game. But with some of the great play from those off the second and even the third unit, SNU continuing to score into the last few minutes of the game.
Dyer with a nice spin move on the baseline, but he stepped on the end line for a turnover. Just the 8th turnover today for Southwestern, despite SNU's big lead. SNU has not forced a lot of turnovers, just more poor shots than anything. Mulkey guarded by the smaller Eibel. Mulkey with the little hook in the lane, and he gets it to go. Great shot from Brady Mulkey, taking advantage of the size mismatch there. SNU now at 92. Braggs down the lane. High floater's no good. Dyer the rebound. Kick out Evans for three. Yes, sir. Timeout SWOSU just for substitutions. Again, Logan O'Neill back in. Trey Evans will take a seat as well as Luke Llewellyn's back into the game for Jackson Dyer. Trey Evans, a rough shooting performance, 6 of 18 from the field, 23 points. He was 9 of 12 from the foul line. Daniel Eibel, the only other player in double figures for Southwestern, who has seen everyone who has played today score. Eibel's at 13 points. Morris Wilson from the corner for 3, left that one short. Chris Stevens, the offensive rebound. Back to Wilson, and he is fouled going up. Foul's going on Llewellyn. You got to love Micah Spate sitting down there on Coach Bohach's stool to the right of assistant coach Ryan Mahoney. So he has more space to dance around, I guess, if SNU second unit here does something fun and worth dancing about.
You got to give the man a little bit of room to celebrate. That's a big key part of a bench and a home court presence, that energy and that excitement. Know your role. Maybe that's Micah Spate's role right here moving forward in the last couple minutes of this game. So he steps forward and barks a few orders at the the defense.
Well, they always say the point guard is the coach on the floor, and I guess for Spate, when he is not on the floor, he also gets a little bit of a coaching internship, if you will. Let's call it that.
Get that man a tie.
Eibel fires up a three-pointer over Wilson that's no good. Rebound tipped by Charles over to Chris Stevens, and SNU pushing. Edwards pulls up quickly for 3. It's off. Mulkey with the tip. Just missed it. Morris Wilson, the tip, misses. And O'Neal comes away. Really nice play there from Mulkey. Flying on one side of the rim and tried to tip it from the other. Nearly went in.
Getting a little bit of look at the future right here, especially in the post. Losing seniors Noah Starkey and Quaylen Newton yet next year. So a lot of that attention will turn to sophomore Brady Mulkey, potentially to Ashton Charles, and maybe even to Morris Wilson. Playing some big minutes right now from the wing, from the 4.
Under a minute to go, 93-64 SNU. Ball moves around the perimeter here. Mulkey got Dyer in the air. Bump, no call. Wilson gets it back. He's blocked and fouled by Logan O'Neal. So Morris Wilson will go back to the free throw line. 1 for 2 in his last trip there for his first point of the game. Long on the first attempt. And we've seen Morris Wilson see more playing time each game over this homestand. Not just in mop-up duty, but saw some first half minutes both Thursday and this afternoon. And he splits the pair again.
15 minutes tonight. We saw him very early in that first half with a look that we maybe haven't seen as much from Coach Bohach. But Bohach speaks very strongly and proudly of that player. And Chris Stevens, meanwhile, get an opportunity in showtime. And he's going to brick off the side of the rim.
Braggs is fouled going in. Stevens went in hard for the throwdown. And the bench is going to let him hear about that for a while. And even Coach Bohach with a very sheepish grin on his face right now.
Oh, where'd Coach Spates go?
He went down to laugh in the mix. And even the referee going over to chuckle with Coach Bohach about that one.
I mean, that's every high flyer's dream. He had that half of the court to himself.
He did take off from a pretty far distance out. he took off from about that second block.
Got a little too excited. Maybe he watched some of those dunk contests of old growing up. Maybe he saw the free throw line and thought about it. But maybe getting up a little bit too early as Stevens will hold the ball and get a little bit of a plod here. SNU, though, will dribble out.
He's still hearing it from the bench right now.
Spade's right there screaming at him through his towel.
And that's the final here from the Sawyer Center. SNU, the winner once again. 94-74. They make 6 straight wins over the Bulldogs of Southwestern Oklahoma State. SNU moving to 22-4 overall, 15-3 in conference play. And Russ, just a good quality game, a big second half showing, 57% shooting from the 57% shooting from the field here in the second half, and a 18 of 23 showing from the foul line as SNU got aggressive, got inside, and really pounded it in the paint to Noah Starkey and shook off a little bit of rust there at the end of the first half.
Did a great job getting to the free throw line. That's something that we didn't see a ton of from them earlier in this homestand, something they've struggled with on and off. But great job getting to the free throw line. Took advantage going 78%, 79%, 26 for 33 as compared to SWOSU's 13 for 29. So that's a big key to the game. Shot the ball pretty well, 45%. But I want to put a lot of that credit just to the tempo of the game. Really got out and ran. We saw Dunn, we saw Spate, we even saw Point Palmer out there running the ball, pressing in transition. And I think when SNU puts the tempo where they want it to be and forces other opponents to play at their speed too, they put themselves in an incredible position to win.
Running through the final stats, SNU finished at 45% shooting, pretty much right on their average. Three-pointers, 10 of 28 for the game, good for 35.7%. They were 26 of 33 from the foul line. Won the rebounding battle 54-30. Grabbed 13 offensive rebounds as well. They had 18 assists on their 29 buckets. Had 4 players in double figures, led by Noah Starkey's 23 points. He was 7 of 8 from the field, 9 of 12 from the foul line. Also chipped in 7 rebounds. Did not have a block today. Came into today's game the leading shot blocker in the conference. Quaylen Newton did have 3 blocks today, along with 12 points, 12 rebounds. Also had 3 assists. Jonathan Dunn, 14 points, 12 rebounds. And Micah Spate, pretty pedestrian game for Micah, just 11 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. Had a couple of rebounds, a pair of assists, and a steal and a block. Zach Johnson had 5 points, team high 5 assists. Bench production was solid this afternoon for SNU, 29 points off the bench, led by Coleman Edwards had with 9. He was 3 of 8 from 3-point range. R.J. Palmer 7 and 5 boards. Morris Wilson had 2 points, 5 rebounds for the freshman. Ashton Charles 8 points, 2 for 4 from 3-point range, and Brady Mulkey finished with 3 points. For Southwestern, they finished at 35.6% shooting. They were 9 of 24 from 3-point range, and a very tough 13 of 29 from the foul line. Lift a lot of points there today. Troy Evans, 23 points on 6 of 18 shooting. He's 9 of 12 from the foul line. The only other player in double figures, Daniel Eibel, 13 points. He was 3 of 7 from deep. 4 points each for Shuck Fall, Jackson Dyer, and Cameron Gibson. 5 points for Chris Braggs. 2 points for Luke Llewellyn, 3 for Nick Shoemaker, and 6 points for the hometown kid, Logan O'Neill, pride of Bethany High School. Again, SNU, 36% shooting in the first half, 57% shooting in the second half, and 18 of 23 from the foul line to take a 10-point lead at halftime and blow this one wide open. So next up for SNU will be Harding here on Thursday night. Tip will follow the women's game and the honoring of athletic director Bobby Martin, who is retiring this year after over 40 years of service here at Southern Nazarene University. We'll have coverage of that for you right after the conclusion of the women's game, and we will carry that in its entirety. So we'll have that right after the women's game, and then the full 20-minute warm-up for the guys, and then we will get things started. So probably going to be closer to about an 8 o'clock tip time for the men on Thursday night, if that. If we're lucky, it'll be about 8 o'clock. But the women will get started at 5:30, and we'll have full coverage of that game, which should be a dandy for the SNU women and the Harding women. So we'll take time out right now. When we come back, we'll be joined by senior Quaylen Newton, get his thoughts on today's game, and then also we'll speak with head coach Adam Bohaj. This is SNU basketball. Welcome back. We're joined by senior Quaylen Newton, 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks today. And Q, looks like you got that spring right back in your step. And
yes, sir.
How's the adjusting going? You're still working on getting your endurance back and everything?
It's not even getting it back. I mean, I'm fine. Just keep working hard, doing as much as I can to help the team.
Quaylen, you guys kind of went through a little bit of a lull there at the end of the first half. Was it anything that they were doing defensively, or are you guys just getting a little impatient on the offensive end?
And I don't even think it was impatience. I think it was just the adjustments and trying to get our rhythm back. But we got off of how we play, and we just need to get back to it.
Now, you guys broke out a 2-3 zone this afternoon, something you guys don't do a lot. What was the rationale behind that?
Just size, and then them playing smaller, but I mean, none of that really matters. We try to, it's not something we particularly just work on, only because of, I think it's more of a pride letdown, because we want to be more physical, more man, and just dominate, and the zone takes you out of that, and so we just try to stay on top of it.
You guys won the rebounding battle 54-30 today. You guys grabbed 13 offensive rebounds. How important is it for you guys to rebound as a team? You had 3, both you and Jonathan had 12, and several other guys contributing on the boards. How big is that for you guys?
I mean, it's huge. Like I said earlier, we want to be physical and dominate the game. So that's one of the best ways to dominate and just stay aggressive.
Quaylen, you're a senior, and time's starting to run out on your time here at SNU. How important is it for you to make the most of these last few games of the regular season and help this run as long as possible?
I mean, it's huge, but I try not even to worry about it. Just keep playing, doing what I do, and falling in love with the everyday things. So if that's conditioning, if that's putting in extra work and doing whatever it takes. So.
Quaylen, congratulations on another big win. I look forward to more on Thursday night from you guys. And when we come back, we'll be joined by head coach Adam Bohach and get his thoughts on today's game. Welcome back. We're joined now by head coach Adam Bohach. And, Coach, another nice win for you guys today, and continue to plug along. Really big contributions from a lot of guys today.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game, Luke. That game was a little bit choppy and a little bit different, them switching defenses and us playing a little bit of zone, so it had a different feel to it. So I was really proud of the guys, how they worked through that and stayed the course, and I thought put together a really, really solid second half.
Quaylen mentioned that the zone was kind of a size thing. Was that anything that you guys saw on tape and from the first game in particular?
Yeah, Luke, I think we just need to have that in our toolbox, and I have a hard time practicing it, and so that's a weakness of mine. And so I thought today it was maybe the best way to guard them with certain lineups out there. Trey Evans is good off the ball screen, and they go so small that it's just tricky to get them all tagged. And so I thought the zone was the right way to do it, and it gave us probably 30 minutes or 28 minutes worth of film where I think we can really take a big step with our zone now, and we'll have that in our pocket going forward.
Do you typically not prefer the zone defense in general?
Well, we're pretty good at the man, and have been traditionally. These guys take pride in that and really try to guard, and it fits our personality and fits our personnel. And so there's advantages to the zone. You know, you wouldn't think by how many times we fouled today, but I think we could do a better job of making people make baskets and not letting them walk to the free throw line, you know, when we play some zone, and we can do better not fouling.
You mentioned a strong second-half performance there at the end of the first half, a little bit of a lull offensively. Was it anything in particular that the other guys were doing?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit of, you know, some poor possessions. They weren't guarding some of us, and so everybody was open a little bit. And so you catch it, and you're used to not being open, and now you are, and now you shoot it, and so there's no rhythm and there's no kind of momentum to the possession, and then that puts us in transition defense, and so they're coming downhill, you know, in a hurry, and they walk to the line. I think we fouled them on our side of half court, you know, 2 times under 4 minutes there, where they got 4 points without even having to cross the timeline, which is really beating yourself. And so we cleaned a lot of that up the second half, and I thought we played really well the second half.
Now, Zach had plenty of opportunity there. They seemed to sag off of him a little bit. What do you tell him as far as being aggressive and looking for his shot? Because he's certainly more than capable of being a standout offensive player.
Yeah. I mean, Zach's going to be who he is, Luke, and he has so much humility. Because even in your question, you immediately go to Zach should shoot more. And every mom and dad in the crowd, you know, thinks that of their son. I just watched my son play this morning, and we're all wired that way. It takes true humility to do what Zach does. He had 5 assists today.
Yeah.
So that's 10 points at a minimum. Some of those were threes. That's more than 10 points. Plus it makes another guy feel good, gets another guy in rhythm, gets another guy playing harder defensively because they've seen the ball go in. So when they choose not to guard Zach, he's dynamic as a passer because now there's no pressure, right? It's the quarterback who gets to drop back and the defense doesn't blitz, right? They rush 3 and the guy can stand there forever and pick you apart. And that's what Zach did. Even though they're shading Noah today, Zach had so many times where he changed his angle and threw it to Noah where Noah just had to lay it in because they chose not to guard Zach. And so super proud of Zach, and he doesn't get near enough credit. I think he's recognized as a superior defender, Luke, but the humility and the toughness that he has to do that, you know, that's part of what ties it all together. And so I thought Zach played really well today.
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned Noah's play as well. A huge game for him. It looked like you guys were really trying to get him the ball early there in the second half and get him established.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have the size right, and he could park it right there where he wanted, and I thought he was really good today.
Coach, congrats on another big win. We look forward to Thursday night against Harding. And just a reminder, we'll have complete coverage of both games as well as the ceremony honoring Athletic Director Bobby Martin. That will take place in between those 2 games. And, Coach, just a quick question about Coach Martin. What's he meant to you in your time here and your relationship with him?
Yeah, that's a great question, Luke. Bobby's been awesome. You know, the first guy to hire me, the only guy to hire me to be a head coach, and so I'll be eternally grateful for that. And then I can't imagine a more patient or grace-filled man than him all along the way. I mean, I was 26 years old when he hired me and thought I knew everything but really knew nothing. And he was the perfect boss for me. And so it's been an honor to work for him, and it's been really neat for me to watch the grace that he handles every situation with. And I've learned a bunch from being under his leadership the last 11 years.
Well, we look forward to all honoring him together. Again, that will be in between the women's and men's game on Thursday night. We'll have complete coverage here on the SNU live stream, and we look forward to you joining us then on Thursday night here at the Sawyer Center.